Hello, and welcome to the Fault Line Podcast, a podcast of Calvary Worship Center in New West, where we discuss different things like the intersection between faith and culture, and we dig into deeper conversations. I'm here joined by my friends, and I'm so thankful that you are here with us again. So we're going to pick up where we left off last time. We are discussing womanhood and some of the things that come up for us as women, as Christian women, how we show up in the world, where influences and our pulls have come from. And now I want us to dig a little bit deeper into womanhood. I was just saying when we were off camera that one of the things that's so beautiful about womanhood is our ability to easily connect with one another and kind of relate to one another. I even think sometimes when you mentioned something about someone saying you had on something nice. I remember being in Red Robin and I was wearing a hoodie. I think it was a church hoodie. And another woman tapped me on the shoulder and she goes, "I really like what you're wearing." And I'm like, thanks. I don't know you, but all of a sudden we have this connection, sort of, because you're vibing with me, right? And I think as women, yes, we fight each other a lot, but we also have this way, this need to connect to one another that I think men really struggle with and wish that they had. And I also think that one of the gifts that we reap as a result of being connected is that research shows us that we live longer because we have this ability to be best friends and hang out and go for coffee and check in on one another. I mean, men don't really do that. Men tend to be very lonely and they carry a lot on their shoulders. And they're told that that's what it means to be a man, right? Whereas women, I think, yes, we do carry a lot, but we know how to find safe spaces to release some of that. So here's my question for you. We're going to go a little bit deeper. Okay.
I know.
So when you think about you and how you show up in spaces and places, what is the one feeling that you dread or you try to avoid at all costs? Now, I know we talked a little bit about this before coming on camera, but I'm sure that people who listen can relate. And so it may be good to reiterate that. Where did I start last time? Let me start with you, MFA.
I said embarrassment, but embarrassment meant something different for all of us. I meant embarrassment on, like, if I'm on the stage and I fall over, or if I miss a whole chunk of a song and everyone's looking at me, I'm like, oh my gosh, and then that's recorded on YouTube and for people to play and make into a short. Like, I meant like embarrassment like that. Or again, Rocky, you were saying about like when you were growing up, your mom would be like, don't embarrass me. I remember that. So like, I'm even sitting now, like I can hear my mom in my sit up, like you know, just all of that. Yeah, don't embarrass me, kind of thing. All of those things. So for me, it was embarrassment. Yeah.
I mean, it's never easy to be humiliated, right? So I think, yeah, that's a big thing.
But I think it's also because of what I've experienced. Like, so then it's playing on my mind. Remember, like you were saying that you've asked God to erase those from your mind. I'm like, okay, I need to ask God to erase those. Because I think that's what, for me, I'm like, I can't be embarrassed because people will laugh at me or people will know I've done this thing or whatever it is. So it's, I guess also, that talks about how I see myself as image. Oh, just opened a box.
We're going there. We're going there.
I would say I avoid feeling vulnerable, and I'll give context. I avoid feeling vulnerable because I've always had a stutter, a speech impairment. And with that, it's when it happens, people laugh and say, oh, are you nervous? Oh, you don't remember your name? Oh, like, you know, so there's that reaction. So immediately I retreat. But I've also learned I've used that as a crutch.
Of course. Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, people are like, oh, you're so good at listening.
Oh, wow.
You're so good at listening. And I'm like, thanks. So then I've also adopted that role as part of my personality. And then it also has forced me to remain silent when I'm not supposed to be. And then the times where I want to, I feel like I can't because it's like, no, people aren't used to you talking. So they can't handle what you, you can't handle what you have to say.
Because I remember the first time I met you, I thought, whoa. like bold as a lion.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And also very real. I remember when I first talked to you one-on-one, I'm like, yes, you're honest. And I like that. Yeah.
But
and
it's
people need to
definitely
hear that.
peeling back the layers, and also, again, why community is so, I think it's a word we sometimes throw out there, but honestly, community is where the layers get peeled back and where you're able to be rooted in who you are supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And the people will form you and shape you into who you're supposed to be.
If you want.
If you want, you have to welcome it.
You have to
You
want
have
it.
to welcome
That's
it.
very
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
And it's painful
Yep. That part.
to be corrected. So I guess we're kind of talking also about in the same vein. So whatever comes to your mind, any of you, we're also talking about what actually, funny enough, we needed to become whole. Because even though, there are some of these feelings that we really avoid, it actually points to a deeper thing for us, right? And then it shows us, okay, Lord, this is the area that you have been working on with me on. This is the area you've been digging deeper with me, and I understand that you're plowing my field. So I will I can lean into the discomfort if it means that I can become whole. So my next question is, what in your life had to die for you to become whole?
My goodness.
I think my need for perfection. Right? I think my thing that I try to avoid at all costs is like disappointing people. Right? And that need to be the thing be whatever the thing is that the person needs. Right? And so for me, it was this need, or maybe even just my idea of what perfection was, right? Because we're all made perfect in God's image, right? So in that way, I'm already perfect. So why am I trying to chase this idea of like being perfect for other people, right? When the one who really matters, I am perfect, right? And then that allowed me to actually take the deep, like spiritual inventory and like, oh, this is maybe I am a little bit bossy here because I don't want to give up control, because giving up control means then that I'm not in control, and therefore if it's not perfect, it's out of my control, right? And then it goes through that kind of like, my therapist can tell me what that means, but all of these like spider webs of like things that you unfurl, and you're like, oh, this goes here, and this goes here, and this goes here, and this is connected to this, and then I've got this like, imaginary board in my head with all of the strings connecting to all of the things. And so I think that was it. And I mean, I still struggle with it, right? Like the idea of like, oh, I want this to be perfect.
Of course.
But also, what am I doing to the people around me who are on the ride of me trying to make it perfect, right? Like I'm modeling to my son. I'm modeling to like there was something somebody very wise had said, and he had said, if I walked through life, he was talking about himself, and I just took it and made it my own. If I walked through life knowing every single action I had either built the kingdom or destroyed the kingdom in some way, how would I change what I did every day? From the moment I walk in the door at school, how the photocopier jams and I give it a kick, how I interact with my students, how I interact with people in ministry, how I'm interacting with the person in the grocery store. If every single interaction either built the kingdom or destroyed the kingdom, how would I change? And so that was like, oh, Lord, you just gave me a knowledge bomb, right? Through this person. I thank you for this person who just did whatever it was that they needed to do supernaturally. And so that really had me go, oh, what is my reason behind this right now? Where can I take a moment, take a beat and go, Lord, what am I trying to do here, right? Because I've pushed myself to exhaustion, or I pushed myself to feeling frantic and frenetic and manic in getting the best cake for Sunday, or making, like, do you know what I mean? Making sure we have this, making sure that this is this, making sure the welcome desk is tidy and everything, but what am I sacrificing in terms of relationships to make sure something is nice and neat?
Don't talk to me.
Or whatever, like, you know what I mean? And so I think for me, it was that idea of perfection and what perfection is. And then maybe that ties back to this interconnected globalization we have, where I'm seeing what perfection looks for that person and I want to emulate it. And who I should be emulating is here, not here, right? And
That's good.
and just continuing to like, God, just show me what you want my perfection to look like to glorify you, right? What does a perfect Sunday look like for you, right? Is it me just taking a moment and a beat to sit with somebody after service and being like, yo, you looked heavy. Now you look lighter. Do you want to talk about that? Who cares if the coffee and the tea doesn't get, it's the Martha and Mary bit, right? There you go. Thank you. I just got it. There we go. It's the Martha and Mary of it all, right?
You see, my mom always makes a joke that she's like, yeah, Martha and Mary, but Jesus still had to eat.
It's true.
Right.
Somebody had to, right? So I don't think the issue is that Martha was doing the things.
Yes.
The issue was like the heart posture and what was she really trying to strive for.
Exactly.
She probably wanted to look good
At that time.
Right.
at that time. Yes. So good. Romans 12, talking about not conforming to the patterns of this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Being transformed by the renewal of your mind.
I had that today. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a life-changing scripture for me. Like when I first became a Christian, because I really struggled with my mental health. Throughout my teens, even maybe early 20s, and body image. And I remember, like, even going back to the question, what I had to die to start to become. I had to die to control.
Yep.
And like the things that I found comfort in through control. And even die to this feeling of like the feeling I used to avoid, it's still like an ongoing journey, but I like despise the feeling of not feeling like I'm enough. Like I would do anything. So I think that turned into people pleasing.
Right.
So like if I can figure out what people want of me, need of me, like I can always please, I will always be enough. Even though I still felt that way. That's a funny thing. Like the protection, I don't think 100% worked. But I remember I used to struggle with disordered eating. And when I was recovering from that, I remember the Lord would say to me like, this thing that you are holding on to because you feel like people will like you better this way. Like you need to renew your mind and know what righteousness is. Like you feel like you're going to be liked more. And you know what too? I remember being like, maybe some people will like you more this way, but that's not how I see you.
Yeah.
So can you accept the discomfort of actually becoming healthy physically and spiritually and be okay with that reality of like, yeah, this is going to be uncomfortable. Not everybody might accept it, but this is the version of you that I'm growing you to be, and I love.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
But
the
that,
full
oh
you.
my gosh, that was such a
It's a journey, isn't it?
journey.
Yeah.
And so much discomfort, like having to just be so uncomfortable too. But
And then pastoring.
He's turned it around.
Also.
yeah.
The uncomfortability of being comfortable.
Yeah. The layers of self.
And being comfortable in His love for who we are, right?
Yeah. Instead of what the world sees.
Yeah.
Mine was pride. So I wrote here, pride marks itself as shyness and humility. And I remember when someone said that to me, it literally slapped in my face. I was like, oh, wow, okay. I never saw it as, wasn't being humble. I was just like, no, this is not, someone can do it better than me. Someone can sing better than me. Someone can do a riff better than me. Like, you don't need me. And I would always sing to the back. And I had 2 examples here. And I remember Rocky was just like, what are you doing? Like, it doesn't even make sense, right? And then you came up to me one Friday service and you were like, basically, if you don't stop this, God is opening a door for you, and it's up to you if you walk into it or you don't, right? And I was just like, yeah, but I'm shy. Oh, you don't. No, it's pride. God has called you to do something, and you're using it as a crutch. It's pride.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay, well, yeah. And that unpacked so many things for me, and just having the boldness to be like, it's a confidence from God. It's not you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And then also, I think part of it too is like, if I step out and I do this thing, that means I'm not getting myself. You have to get me, God.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I trust you like that. So I'm just going to do what I want to do, right? And God is like, okay, sure. Let's see how far that takes you. What had to die?
Avoidance, for sure. I had this revelation, I think, not like recently, where I'm always about multitasking and always about trying to maximize my time.
I love that.
Yes, and I was doing laundry, I was cooking, I was working from home at the time, and I was trying to do all these things, and literally the rebuke from the Holy Spirit that I received was, you want to multitask because you don't want to sit in the hard feelings. Ooh. And you're using it as avoidance. And I stopped and I dropped everything. I dropped everything. And then I thought back, I was like, yeah, because I was thinking back to all the feelings that I was dealing with at that time that I didn't want to deal with because it was from such a deep place of brokenness. And I was like, oh, okay. And when Robin came home, I shared what he said. He's like, wow. And I was like, yeah, can we talk? And we talked through some things that night. So yeah, just the avoidance of the difficult emotions is every day for me, every single day.
Yeah, I think for me, I can see a piece of myself in all of you. I think you've all spoken, right? Yeah. I think I can see a piece of myself in all of what you said. I think there's a lot that had to die. I think growing up as a pastor's child, which you can relate to, and I think trying to also find out who you are in the midst of that, and then discovering that who you are is closely tied to how you grew up. And then trying to work through that and getting to a place where you can trust God enough that there is a separation within you, even though others may not see the separation from your childhood. Am I making sense? So I think with my story, God has called me to this body. It'd be one thing if God had called me to another body and I'd grown up in one way and then I traveled to some other part of the world and then God had called me to be a minister there. That'd be different and maybe easier.
In some ways,
In some ways. But I think because I'm called to here and God has made that very clear to me, I've had to overcome now some of the things that I didn't want to confront. And I think overcome people pleasing and overcome shame and overcome pride. I can see that. And definitely avoidance. And I don't even like people and all of those things. And God is like, well, why don't you like people? Let's go back. Is it because of the things that people have said to you, done to you, expected of you, all those things while you were growing up? That's not me. And so you can't not serve me because of your, you need to heal through that and then move. And then I think also getting to a place where I learned that, man, people are broken. People are really broken. And even though they look like they have it together, inside they're broken. I remember saying to my mom, one of the really big light bulb moments for me is realizing that some of the people that I considered aunties, mature in the faith, people who I looked up to, I'm like, you're broken. Your behavior is so petty. And it's because you're broken. But I looked up to you and I was like, why? You cannot be behaving like this. You cannot be cussing someone out in the parking lot. But I looked up to you. And getting to that place of realizing you know what, people are people. And I have to do what God has called me to do, aside from my parents, aside from my marriage, aside from my... I'm going to stand before God. So that was its own journey. And I think my husband was also on his own journey. And I think now we are definitely way more in synchronization, but there was a lot of confronting those things in that. And God was gracious, right? And you look at stories, we're doing a series right now in our church called Amazing People in the Bible. You look at these people and you're like, oh yeah, they definitely were also in that journey of confronting things. And you see where God took them and how he used their lives, right? And now they're almost immortalized in the pages of this book that we call the Bible. So anyway, I think that's a good place to land. Ladies, thank you for joining me.
Yes.
Awesome.
Lots of fun.
Yes, and I hope that you guys will join me again sometime
Yes.
soon. Thank you so much for joining us on the Fault Line podcast, podcast of Calvary Worship Center. And if this conversation has encouraged you, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it. My name is Pastor Rosa, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.